Lesson 2. Indians and Settlers. People to know. Black Hawk, Laura Ingalls Wilder. Places to locate. Iowa, Nebraska, Pepin, Mississippi River, Bad Axe River. Words to understand. Memorize, pioneer, recite, treaty. Please take a look at this quotation from Little Elk, a Winnebago chief. A pioneer is one of the first people to do something. Why do we call settlers pioneers? Think about that. Gaining control of the land. Caption: Black Hawk was angry that the settlers had forced his people off their land. At first, the American Indians were friendly to the new settlers. The Indians acted as guides for settlers on the rivers and trails. But when more and more settlers came to Wisconsin, they began taking over the Indians' land. The government made treaties with the Ho-Chunk, Chippewa, Sauk, and Fox. A treaty is a written agreement signed by two groups. In the treaties, many Indian groups agreed to sell their land in Wisconsin and move across the Mississippi River to Iowa and Nebraska. They did not want to sell their land, but they felt they had no choice. Often, they didn't understand that they could not come back to their land. The government bought land from the Indians for a low price. Then it sold the land to settlers. Settlers were able to buy large pieces of land at a low cost. The Black Hawk War. Black Hawk, a Sauk Indian chief, was not happy that his people had agreed to sell their land. He said it wasn't fair. He thought the settlers should be the ones to have to leave. He led his people back across the Mississippi River to take back their land from the white settlers. There was a terrible battle where the Bad Axe River flows into the Mississippi. The Native Americans were outnumbered. Black Hawk tried to surrender, but was attacked again and again. Many of Black Hawk's people were killed. The Black Hawk War was the last large war between Indians and settlers in Wisconsin. The United States government slowly gained control of most of the land. Pioneers come to the Northwest Territory. When boys and girls came to the Northwest Territory, they walked beside their family's covered wagon. The wagon was pulled by horses or oxen. Sometimes it was sunny and it was fun to walk next to the animals, talk with new friends from other wagons, and race down the streams to cool off. Sometimes it rained, but they still had to keep going. At night, children slept inside the wagon or under it on a quilt. Captions: Biting, buzzing insects made life miserable for pioneers. Caption: Pioneers used wagons to carry their belongings and for shelter on their way to their new homes. When you're done with the regular reading, if you have time, please take a look at this insert from Mary Ackley. The family wagon was crowded with trunks, furniture, oil lamps, quilts, bags of flour, dried meat, a spinning wheel, tools and seeds, a shovel, water pail, and butter churn hung on the outside of the wagon. Cream churned itself into butter as wagons bumped along the dirt roads. Early roads were only dirt trails with smashed down grass. Most were old Indian trails. Travel was very slow. Sometimes the road was so narrow the wagons could not pass through the trees. The men had to stop, get out of the wagon, and chop down trees. This could take hours. Sometimes a horse's hoof or wagon wheel got stuck in mud. Pioneers faced other problems. One woman wrote in her journal about crossing the Appalachian Mountains.